A big hello and a warm welcome to all of you amazing and beautiful people out there. Welcome to my channel. In this channeling session, I asked the question from the collective for comparison between the masculine and feminine and energies. So I asked about the feminine and at the same time I picked a card for the masculine. When I saw the card, at first it looked to me like, okay, what's the story over here? So I was shown that the feminine is at Queen of Wands energetically, and the masculine was at Ten of Swords energetically. Now these two are obviously very different cards, but let's just get into understanding what's happening over here. When you start feeling aligned and when you start feeling very real, authentic person and also empowered. So if you're empowered, you're aligned with your chakras and you're real, because obviously fifth chakra is working, so you can speak your truth without any fears. You are going to become a self-motivated person eventually. You will not need anybody else to motivate you or to push you. And if you also in such cases go a bit down, then you can revive yourself again. You're not going to see everything as very seriously. And I'm being shown that she is an extremely honest person and also very career oriented. In this context, I can sense it has to be mission, because mission is the career of most twin flames, all twin flames actually. So when the feminine is in very low energies, some of the feminines may be earning money, may be doing well, before the whole Kundalini awakening starts. But they are not happy in those jobs and in those careers. They are just doing it because they have to, bring money home or just somehow manage, or they have expenses. They are hardworking all the time because, they were the ones who were trained to work and to take care of other people. So they are quite hardworking and considerate. But then they used to ignore their own self at that time, their own needs. And change does not happen in 1 day or 2 days or 1 month or 2 months. Change, an actual change takes time. And on the other hand, the masculine is lying down below, and I asked this question, like, is this good or is this bad between them? Confidence is simply oozing out from this person. The color of her gown is yellow over here, and yellow is a color of confidence. Also, it's not even like just yellow, it's gold yellow. And she's holding a sunflower. A sunflower is a very symbolic plant of connection with solar energy, with the sun energies, okay? And sun adds a lot in a person's life, because sun is also connected to the solar plexus. Solar plexus in our body is the seat, is the root of our confidence, where our jewels are kept. Our jewels are unlocked when we reach this level, okay? Now the 10 of swords is going to look like a very negative card to some people over here in this situation, when you have one look up at it upon it. However, what I'm being told is not that. I'm being given this card as a equivalent of ego death. So the ego death has taken place over here, and it is again a very significant place to be in, because many a times people get into full recognition right after ego death. So he's got nowhere to go. He's down, and he's down like literally the swords have full control over his body, and swords are thoughts, words, actions, communication, ideas, making decisions, and asserting your power. So when I do a comparison in their energies from the outside, it looks very opposite. but actually in today's world, because we are living in a time where the masculine ego has to fall down. We also have to look at this whole twin flame journey and the purpose of twin flames on planet Earth, as these two people are basically helping to create unified energies. Okay, so the feminine has to be in lead right now. She has to be the leader right now, because in the past she has been in a very bad position, very low stature, low status. Her actual energies were never used. She was just treated like a sex object and a child producing machine. So if the man could only take decisions in the households, the feminine could not. If that is the scenario, then you can imagine it's not an equal situation. But when the planet has to heal back, then she has to make the masculine realize that nature, Mother Nature, Earth is the ultimate power. And you need to give up or give in to this. You need to let it go. And that's why it is also the feminine who first experiences this type of a place and situation. Why? Because she also has to initially give up on the idea that she's weak, that she is a second class citizen or whatever, like you want to put it over there. She is a person who has no authority, no rights. People are fighting in the world for equal wages and equal pay. Actually, these are the things that people should stand up for. Instead of, using your body parts, or instead of, doing things which fall into the category of toxic feminine, people should be more focused on equality. Like if a man and woman are doing the same job, the same hours, the same time, they are giving the same energy. In fact, physically, she might be giving more energy because that's not her job really. A lot of things that women do, it's not their job, like naturally or physically. But in the world of consciousness also, we don't treat genders differently. We say that both genders are same, and we actually have to rise above genders, and we have to go by energy. So energetically, if a woman can do masculine tasks and she loves to do it, why not? She could also be a carpenter, an electrician, an athlete, a driver, a CEO. She could even be into fights like taekwondo, martial arts, and she could be like really good with all of that, And here the masculine is like literally fallen on the ground. And you must be thinking that he's in pain. Yes, he is in pain, but it's a very sweet pain. Okay? Like when you start working on yourself, when you start doing inner work, deep inner work, then you do some kind of activities, okay? So those activities may be physically taxing for you. I can give you an example. Say you start running every morning, okay? First day you run couple of kilometers, and next day you can't even stand because you have so much pain in the body, but you really enjoy that pain. You savor that pain. You can feel every part of your body that's in pain. Once I had asked someone like, hey, what happened? And this person said, oh, I'm in a lot of pain. I said, oh, do you need to go to the doctor or do you need something? So this person said, no, I'm really enjoying this pain. I said, what do you mean? Oh, this is from the workout I did, and I did some kind of new workout. I did this cardio, that. And they, very excitedly started talking about it. I did this, I did that. Oh, and it feels so good. I can feel my body this way, that way. So I'm fine. So I've spoken to a lot of athletes. I've spoken to a lot of enthusiasts who do amazing activities like walking on the rope, or there's some other things, you can do. And they say the same thing, like even people who like rock climbing, they say when we started as a beginner, yes, it was not easy. But with time, we have actually trained our body and they're very fit, and people who don't know how to discipline their body, it's very tough for them to discipline their mind. So that's why the yogis actually tell you to sit still, because sitting still is actually the most difficult thing to do. So they tell you how to train your mind via first training your body. So as you go on training your body, you can train your mind, and then you can go deeper. Because see, we are a combination of mind, body, soul. We are not just the body, we are not just the mind. In fact, some people think that mind is actually so important that it can be tamed and it can be turned into the boss. But that's not true. Your soul is your boss actually. Soul is the real boss. Mind is just a tool. But mind is such a dangerous tool. If it's not in working position, it is going to create the big illusion of ego. And ego is also very smart, okay? You take 4 steps in your direction of inner work, ego will take 4 more steps how to fool you and how to bring you down from your path. So some people ask me, why this runner-chaser dynamic? I'm so sick of this runner-chaser dynamic. It's because the runner-chaser dynamic first has to happen physically. As a physical manifestation, it has to appear in front of you. Otherwise, you'll never understand what a runner-chaser dynamic is. And then as we go further, as we work more and more, as we do more inner work, this becomes a mental activity. Like you can mentally see that I am in runner-chaser dynamic phase right now. Mentally also, I am chasing a person. I may not be doing something physically. I may not be calling them or texting them or stalking them anymore. But in my head, I am doing that constantly. So I need to stop doing that. I need to surrender. I need to surrender to the present moment basically. So here I see this beautiful divine feminine energy, very much connected to the sun world, the solar world, because that's what she has to do in this life. She has to heal herself so that the solar energy, which is the masculine energy, awakens fully. And if you look at the 10 of the swords also, it's a card where you see nighttime, dark night, okay? So it's a dark night, and dark night is also connected to lunar, so feminine over there. So feminine is lunar and masculine is solar, if you actually study this concept, okay? But in order to heal, you need to work on both those energies. Whether you're born with solar energy doesn't matter. Because you're in the twin flame dynamic, because you're in the twin flame ascension journey, it's very important that you accept both. But looking at the time and the culture and so many things that are happening right now, we first need to heal a lot of things in the sense that are given to us from the society. So if the society tells you that women can't do this and men can do anything basically, okay, but women can't. Men can marry like 10 women, but women can't. Men can marry younger people, he can marry someone who's 10 years younger to him, and that will be seen like a prestigious thing. Oh wow, he married someone younger. And women cannot. Like if a woman marries a man who's just 2 years, 5 years, 7 years younger, or she starts dating, there's so much social stigma attached to it. There's so much negativity attached to it. Why can't it be equal for both of them? So right now she has to heal this aspect and this element, okay? She as in the feminine collective. And then eventually the masculine is going to realize that, what, I need to give in, because this is not right. Not because it has to do something with the ego, but this is just not right. It's not fair. It's not a fair bargain. It's not a fair deal. If I am going to look at a woman and use the word cougar as an abusive word, but it's okay if I am with a cougar, physically to have sexual relationship with her, I can go and brag about it to my friends. I can go and tell my friends that, what, I'm with a cougar and what, this is so good and that is so good. But when it comes to taking responsibility, he is the one who judges her by saying, hey, you're elder to me, you're older. Like the age is not being used over here as something positive, but it's being used as a negative thing, like an abuse. We also need to remember that it was the masculine energy which actually led to the inner work of feminine. Because masculine also set a benchmark, or he set like a threshold that, she can't reach here, she can't be this person, so she can't be with me. And when he moved on from her, or when he decided not to be around her, the reasons he gave, like this reason, that reason, like whatever reasons he had, like 50% reasons did make sense. Like he was career oriented, he was work oriented, he was self dependent, or in the materialistic reality he was better off than her while she was still struggling, because that struggle phase happens to all twin flames without a doubt. That struggle phase will happen to everyone. They don't feel like doing a lot of things because they just want to understand what is the cause of their pain. And for a long time they also have a lot of bitterness, because they have heard this thing, and I have also mentioned it, that your programming is causing this, so you need to change the programming. But instead of changing the programming, they start getting upset with everyone, like with the mother, with the father, with the ancestry, with the generational situations, with the people around them. They start looking at them like, what, you are the one behind this, you are the reason of my doom, you are the one. So because of those bitter energies, they cannot do proper inner work for some time, and that is also a part of this journey. They need to tell themselves, hello, these people are also victim of victims, because they are not happy. If they were happy, they would not have allowed you to go through this. If they were spiritually mature, they would not have done these things that they have been doing, and they're still doing. At least in your case, there is a hope, there is a relief, because you're working on yourself and you can see changes upon changes happening. But for them, you can go on explaining it to them, you can talk about it to them, but they will not shift, because that is their destiny. So we should have compassion for these people, that what, I wish they could also experience what I'm experiencing. They could also experience ascension energies. They could also experience a lot of truth, authenticity, reality, because the truth always sets you free. It makes you so free. You don't have to be in those ropes and those chains and those handcuffs anymore. You can just walk out of the situation and you can walk out with dignity. But they can't do that. So you need to actually let it go. Like if somebody upsets you, if somebody is not nice to you, you've tried to really tell them through many ways, they don't understand, they just want to suffer, they just want to go through pain, then maybe for some time you need to cut away from them. Maybe you need to create a boundary and you need to do your work and not take it personally. If you have decided to go on a date, say your runner masculine comes back, after 2 years. He comes back after 2 years and he expects you to be the same that you were 2 years back. But you're not the same person anymore. You can read through his weaknesses and you can read through his addictions, you can read through a lot of his behavior. So you tell him, you create a boundary, and you, in your words and in your body language, in your tonality, you tell him that, look, I know there was a time when I was crazy about this guy. Like first you have to do it mentally and then you have to share it with him. Like I was crazy about this guy, but at that point in time I was not healed. So I was attracting these men who were over pampered, who were over privileged, who did not want to work on themselves. They were impulsive. And some of them, who were a little bit better, they were hardworking, but they were totally controlled by the narcissistic parents and societal setup that they came from. So they always looked down upon me. And now after my inner work, this person has started recognizing me, but they're still not in proper energies. They are still toxic, they're still draining, they're still patriarchal, they still demand and they command and they want me to be, always available for them. And at the same time, they've expected me to forgive them, because they think that forgiveness means, okay, I forgive you and let's do everything all over again. But that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is changed behavior. So the feminine actually expects him to, rise up and show it to her that he deserves her and he's worthy of her. And this is not being done with a superiority complex. This is being done like how it should be done, And then to confirm this, I don't know why I felt like confirming it. I again pulled out 2 cards, one for feminine, one for masculine, and the same results came. Literally the same results. And this is so astonishing, because the second, the cards were Star and the Tower. For the masculine, it was Tower. again, it's a night time situation, and everything has fallen apart. There is no way to go. Like, surrender is the only option these two cards have. The 10 of Swords and the Tower, surrender is the only option after this. Okay, there's no other option then if they want to like rise up. And then when I spoke about the solar energies, we need to remember that star, actually sun is also a type of star, and you see so many stars in this card. You see this naked woman taking water from the pond. She's pouring it in the pond, or then there is some she's pouring in the soil, and there is a beautiful bird in the background. There are all these 7 stars, actually, not the stars around the big star. So 7 stars, sometimes we also call them Saptarishi. Saptarishi were the 7 sages, the 7 celestial beings, the very advanced sages, okay, super scientists. So their presence can also be felt in this tarot reading somehow, you know. And the color of her hair has to be noticed. This doesn't mean that all blonde women are going to resonate. This color is just trying to say, you know, the yellow hair, the golden color. Yellow is a symbolism of solar plexus most of the times. And when it is shown in such a beautiful way, then one has to understand that, you know what, this is the deal. Now, she's so independent. In both the cards, you can see the body language, the mannerism. She's so independent. And naked over here again means healed throat chakra. She can speak her truth. There is nothing to hide. Okay, nothing needs to be hidden or... So when we speak about the feminine energy, we also speak about the high priestess. But high priestess is secretive and mysterious. So how does it work over here? See, basically certain things you need to keep to yourself. Okay? You're not supposed to tell the whole world everything. You need to talk to yourself. You need to be contained. You need to be like within you. Okay? That creates authority within you. But your truth is you. Some people say that pulling this card, the star, is literally a green light from the universe. It's like a go ahead, like a thumbs up from the universe. The universe is like, I'm with you and you got everything. Everything with you is fine. In this card, you know, basically we're talking about the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. So, you know, we have 2 types of brains, you know, right brain and left brain. But we are not talking about that here. We are saying that we have a conscious mind which is helpful in dealing and doing all the bodily activities, all the here and there important activities, functions basically. But it is the subconscious mind that actually rules everything. So she is basically nourishing the earth, and she is continuing the cycle of fertility. Okay. And she pours the water on the dry land also. So you can see that this water that she's pouring is actually looking like river. You know, rivers, rivulets. So these are 5 if you count them, okay? So there are 5 senses. So she is, you know, basically filling up her senses. You heard the song yesterday. You fill up my senses. So she's actually filling up the senses with this pure water, the water that is nourishing, which is full of love and compassion, and it's coming from the subconscious. Okay, and she is basically in pure energies. She has nothing on her, so she's actually removed all the baggage. There's nothing that she needs that's going to embarrass her, that's going to stop her. So she's now embracing herself as the way she is. While on the other hand, in the Tower moment also, you see the Tower card is basically, you see 2 people falling off, a man and a woman. So here the masculine is actually representing not just himself, but also the crash of other masculine and feminines that have been involved in his upbringing. People who are involved in his decision making also go down with him. Because if they don't go down like properly, if he doesn't see that they were all wrong and they were not telling him the correct things, he's not happy. Clearly he is in a lot of pain because of the 10 of Swords, and they have no answers. They cannot somehow fix it. This time, no vacations, no money, no cars, no gifts, no business ideas, no investment. Nothing is helping him. Nothing. And even if he had a karmic relationship, or he was in some situation romantically, that's not helping him. Nothing is helping him right now. So they need to also be told by the universe, by higher being, that you and your decisions were not the correct decisions. And that's how all of them change. So with the feminine, other people change because she knows how to create boundaries with them, and they cannot mess with her, they cannot enter her energy sphere. And with him, those people who were deciding how his life would go, they have also now stopped making those decisions, those wrong decisions for him. So this is where I'm going to close this channeling session. This was an amazing session. For your personal situation, you can check out the description box, and you can write to me at thesunamoon@gmail.com once you are sure about what you want to get. You can ask questions which are also around the timings, which is absolutely possible in tarot to determine. And you can also ask questions pertaining to your twin flame connection and how you feel in the connection. And like sometimes other people might judge your question, but if you need to ask that question, then you must. And therapies are literally very detailed and very deep and very intense, because therapies are actually designed to literally go into places where you would have never thought about. You would have never thought about, even if you read about subconscious mind and programming and this and that, but you may not reach to that point, which is causing so much havoc in your life. And one bad experience in the childhood, one horrible experience in the childhood can actually create 20, 30, 40, so many other situations where you continue to feel the same way, the same misery, the same despair, and the same helplessness. So that's why we need to heal all of those. So there's not just one like that. There's so many like that. So we need to heal all of those so that you can come back into your authority and balance. And yes, you can now support this content, support this channel via Patreon. And if you take a membership on Patreon, what I want to do on top of that is, not only you continue to get this wonderful content, which requires a lot of hard work, time, and patience, but now all of the members on the Patreon can also get a free Zoom class every month. And this would be like a group class. There would be more people, and we would be discussing situations, and we would be doing a realistic study, because I understand a lot of people are in dark energies, and they are in such low energies that their root chakra is not functioning the way it should function. But then they need to rise up above from this, and they eventually need to fix their financial conditions, fix their financial crisis and choices, so that they can also live in abundant energies. So enjoy the inner work, continue the inner work. Ascension is a lifestyle, and inner work is a lifestyle, and it goes on and on and on and on. And the deeper you go into the rabbit hole, there is no end to it. And that's the adventurous and the fun part. So I'll see you soon in another one. One love and peace out, and Jai Shri Ram.